All right, today we're diving into one of nature's most mind-blowing survival strategies. It's a real-life superpower that, honestly, it just completely defies our everyday understanding of what it means to be alive. So let me start by asking you a question. Do you think an animal can freeze solid? And I mean solid. Ice in its veins, no heartbeat, not breathing, and then just come back to life? I know it sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi movie. But here's the thing. It's not science fiction. It is a scientific fact. And these little guys, they are the creatures that have absolutely mastered this unbelievable feat. Yeah, we're talking about frogs that essentially turn themselves into living popsicles for the winter. This is the truly astonishing science of how they manage to freeze, survive, and then thaw out, totally ready to hop right back into action. So who are these champions of the cold? Well, you'll find them in places with some seriously harsh winters. We're talking about species like the wood frog, the gray tree frog, and the spring peeper. They've all figured out this incredible solution to a problem that would be deadly for almost anything else: freezing temperatures. Okay, so how on earth do they pull this off? It's not like it happens by accident, right? Nope. It's a very carefully planned biological process that kicks off way before the first deep freeze hits. So, as autumn rolls in and the temperature starts to dip, the frog gets to work. First, it finds itself a nice, cozy spot under some leaves or maybe a log. But then, the real magic starts happening inside its body. Its liver begins pumping out just massive amounts of glucose, that's sugar, straight into its bloodstream. And it gets its whole system ready to actually control where ice is going to form. That glucose, it acts as something called a cryoprotectant. And a cryoprotectant is exactly what it sounds like: a substance that protects living tissue from the damage of freezing. For these frogs, simple sugar is their secret weapon. You can think of it just like the antifreeze you put in your car. This super high concentration of sugar inside the frog's cells lowers their freezing point. It prevents the most important parts, the vital machinery inside, from turning into sharp, destructive ice crystals. Now, hold on, because this is where things get truly wild. As the temperature outside just plummets, the frog's body enters this state of suspended animation. And we're talking about a shutdown that is really hard to even wrap your head around. Now, what's so critical to understand is that ice does form, but only in specific places. The water outside the cells, in the body cavities and between the tissues, that all freezes solid. But the glucose-packed fluid inside the cells, it stays liquid, which protects the delicate cell walls from getting punctured. And the frog isn't just letting this happen randomly. It's using another amazing tool: ice nucleating proteins. You can think of them like tiny little traffic cops for ice. They actually direct the ice crystals to form only in the safe spaces, outside the cells, where they won't do any harm. It's an incredibly precise, controlled process. So just how frozen does this frog get? Well, get this. Up to 70% of all the water in the frog's body can turn into solid ice. It is, for all intents and purposes, a frozen frogsicle. And during this time, its heart stops completely. There is no pulse, no blood circulating, absolutely nothing. Breathing has totally stopped, too. By any clinical definition you could possibly use, the frog is not alive. It is in a perfect state of suspended animation, just waiting for the world to warm up again. Which, of course, brings us to the great spring thaw. After spending months as a solid frozen block, the frog begins one of the most remarkable comebacks in the entire natural world. And the revival process is shockingly fast. As the ice begins to melt, everything just reverses. Within only a few hours of thawing, the heart starts to beat again, blood begins to flow, and bam, the frog is back, fully active and ready to go. It's just a stunningly quick return to life. So you have to ask yourself, right? Why go through all this trouble? What's the evolutionary advantage of developing such an extreme and, you'd think, risky survival strategy? Well, it turns out the benefits are huge. By becoming completely inert and frozen, the frog is basically invisible to predators all winter. But even more importantly, it gets a massive head start in the spring. It's one of the very first animals to be active, ready to mate and lay eggs before its competitors have even woken up. This amazing ability also lets it live in much colder places where other amphibians just can't survive. But this natural wonder isn't just a cool piece of trivia, it has some pretty profound implications for us. Scientists are now looking very closely at these frogs for clues that could completely revolutionize modern medicine. I mean, just think about it. If we can figure out exactly how these frogs protect their cells and organs from ice damage, we could potentially change medicine forever. Imagine applying these lessons to preserve human organs for transplants, being able to store a donor heart or a kidney for weeks instead of just a few hours. The same ideas could advance cryopreservation and even help us conserve endangered species. Ultimately, the story of the cryogenic frog is just this powerful testament to the incredible ingenuity of evolution. It shows us that life finds a way, adapting in the most extraordinary ways imaginable to whatever challenges the environment throws at it. It really leaves you with a sense of wonder. And one final big question. The frozen frog has shown us something that we all thought was impossible. So what other incredible secrets are hidden out there in the natural world, just waiting for us to discover them? Secrets that could completely redefine our future.